It's crazy how no one ever talks about the other categories of K-pop auditions, just only singing, dancing, and rapping. But in this video, I'm going to be covering all 5 other categories that are often overlooked. So that includes acting, modeling, visuals, producing, and also songwriting. I'm going to be sharing tips for each and also what they entail in an audition, because sometimes you just don't know what to include for that category. At the end, I'll also be answering some FAQs about these categories, so make sure you stick till the end if you are interested in that. But hi, my name is Irene. I create videos on K-pop auditions every single week, every single Sunday, so subscribe, like if you are interested in that kind of stuff. Okay, let's begin with the first category that I think is most popular amongst these 5, which would be the acting category. So what would you include in your acting audition? An acting video, of course, of any acting that you would like. Typically they describe it as free acting, but that doesn't mean to like freestyle it. Of course, you need to know your lines, you need to know your emotions, but what they mean by free is to choose whatever you would like. So this can come from movies, TV shows, dramas, musicals, whatever you would like essentially, and whatever you think would showcase your talents the best. Now this is typically within a minute, and they also require some headshots, so this includes front, side, also some body shots, same as K-pop auditions that you would do. And while I'm in the middle of filming this, I realized that K-pop audition probably isn't the best word because it has nothing to do with Korean pop, but we're just gonna roll with it. So I have some tips on what they would look for in the acting category. Firstly, let's talk about the things you can't really control, your visuals. And I would say different from auditions, they don't really look at a specific type of person simply because with dramas, with K-dramas, let's just say for example, there's so many different people that you need in one show, so they're not looking for the same cookie cutter, perfect idol type of visuals. I mean, whatever I say won't really help you in the process of preparing for your acting audition, so let me give you some actual tips that would make you stand out as an applicant for the acting category. So the first and foremost one would be delivering your emotion. And this one I would say is quite similar to K-pop auditions in the sense that you want to show your emotions through whichever category that you're doing. Let's say it's a dance. You want to be able to express yourself through dance, same with singing. And with acting, you need to be able to do that, which is why a lot of people often do scenes where it carries a lot of emotions, whatever that may be. That might be anger, that might be crying, like sadness. It also might be like love, like a love confession. Something along those lines would be better, like something dramatic if that suits you. But if you think just like a normal daily kind of script would suit you, then go for that. I would just say that people typically tend to choose the dramatic one just because it can aggravate more emotions out of the judges and make you look a little bit more professional. That really does not mean you have to be crying, yelling, sobbing. Really does not entail that. And people just choose it because they think it would be the right thing to show for acting. But if you think you can showcase all of your techniques when it comes to acting in just like a daily monologue or just like a conversation type, that would also be fine. Actually, while we're on that point, you would also need to have a scene where you can carry it by yourself. You can do both parts, but sometimes that does sound awkward. And if you just do one part, that's just not okay. So that's why people typically go for monologues and you wouldn't do both sides. And the second one is how real it looks. I think the most important thing about acting is obviously that you're acting as if you're the person. If it sounds fake, if it sounds very theatrical, people do not want you because that is just not a skill set that an actor needs. You need to make it sound real. You need to make it sound like you're almost already the character themselves. Some other things that I think are pretty self-explanatory are breath control. You want to, execute your voice very well and enunciate your words well so that they actually understand what you're saying. I think that's also really important. Typically people will kind of mumble like this where you don't really know what they're talking about, and that is just so not okay. You want to execute properly, enunciate properly and pronounce your words in a very clear and distinct manner. Now, a question that I often get about acting is, do I have to do it in Korean or can I just do it in English? You can do it in English if you are not fluent in Korean. However, being fluent in Korean is going to give you such an advantage simply because a lot of K-drama roles are looking for, non-Koreans that can still speak Korean fluently. So don't force yourself to do it in Korean if you can't. However, let me just say, like, it gives you a big advantage if you can handle both languages, English and Korean. Now, the last thing for the acting category is talking about the companies that you want to audition for. Now, when you're looking for companies, I would actually specifically look at acting companies. So I would look into those, and then also for K-pop entertainment companies, there are a couple like, I don't know, SM, JYP, Fantasio, where they have specific sub-labels for actors, and they also carry a lot of good actors and actresses in there as well. And also, I would say Fantasio in particular is really nice because they combine K-pop idols with acting. So if you're into that, make sure to look out for that as well. But the next category would be modeling. So what does that entail? It entails a lot more photos than the usual, I don't know, K-pop audition, but it also means the same thing. So you'd have the front, the side, the full body. And now for your video, you would actually do a catwalk. You would just do a walk and show off 3 poses. Now the 3 pose thing actually originates from SM Entertainment, where one of the members that was in an SM Entertainment group was asked to literally just do 3 poses, and he got in just like that. So it's kind of like a meme, but they actually do look at what kind of poses you can show off. And when you're choosing this, you know yourself the best. So you want to choose something that is professional, but also showcases yourself really, really well. The 2 main factors that you really want here are confidence and originality. You want to be able to stand out with modeling, and I think apart from having a very unique facial structure or having a very lean, tall body type, can also be very helpful when it comes to modeling. I'm not going to lie about that, but then you also want to show your uniqueness, especially in this day where modeling companies are actually looking for more so unique people rather than perfect people. Now, some tips for the modeling category are to really just look it over with a professional, someone that knows catwalk, someone that knows how to pose, and check to see if it actually looks good, and then confirm it, actually audition. And with this, I also recommend the same thing. Look for companies that actually take modeling very seriously and have a modeling sector label in their company. Alright, so the next one is a really interesting one, and I feel like if you said this to anyone that is not really involved with K-pop, they would be like, what? But it is the visual category. And ultimately, the role of this category is to help you become a K-pop idol. And it's really for people with visuals. What a surprise, I know. So what kind of videos can you make with this? Firstly, you're going to need the typical photos that you need for K-pop. And then you would also need something that just showcases your visuals in a 40-second to a minute video, something like that. And I know that sounds really, really challenging. So what do people do with that? It can just be very mundane. As long as it showcases your visuals, that's all that matters. So High Up Entertainment actually did an audition that was like a vlog audition, and that was kind of meant to only showcase your visuals because there's not anything else that you can really do. And for this, I think you can kind of mix it with your musicality. So maybe playing a guitar while showing your face, and that kind of being the center of attention. Or maybe playing the piano or something unique about yourself. That would also be great, but if you can't play a piano, then just do something as simple as a vlog. Just do like a get ready with me without talking, and just make the focus your face. Something creative would be nice because judges are often seeing the same thing over and over again, so I would actually just leave that judgment and the decision to you guys for auditioning, that is. Okay, so the next one is songwriting and producing, and I'm going to combine these two together because they are similar in a sense. So a lot of these auditions actually do not have age limitations when it comes to songwriting and producing because they're behind the scenes and they don't really need to be young, which sounds weird, but that's just kind of the sad reality of the K-pop industry. Anyway, apart from that, you would need to submit your actual work. So if it's songwriting, then you want to hand that in, whatever lyrics you wrote, and submit it to the company. However, I actually recommend against this, just submitting your lyrics, because that doesn't really carry much weight when it comes to that. Maybe combining it with something that you produced would be great, and for producing, that's pretty much obvious. Just send in a file to the company of something that you've been working on, and I would actually send a completed draft. So it has the melody, it's got the lyrics, even if it kind of sounds like nonsense, like you know how demo songs typically have some nonsense lyrics in them. As long as you can show that you can produce a beat, I think that would be fine. And obviously for these two categories, you do not need photos whatsoever. All you need is literally your work, and the companies will be able to take that from you. So that was a quick overview of those 5 categories. Now I'm going to be answering some FAQs that will be relevant to you guys, I promise. So the first question is, can you audition for any of them and still end up as a K-pop idol? So let's say you audition for acting, and can you be a K-pop idol in that company? And the answer is typically no. There are some rare circumstances where they get transferred to a different label of the company because they see some talent in them, but then it doesn't make sense. Like, let's say you audition for acting and they think you're so great, you have potential, and then they grow you to be a wonderful actor, actress, you know, you star in some commercials and you're like an extra for some shows, and then now you suddenly want to be a K-pop idol. A lot of companies will say no to that simply because you're in the road to be an actor. There's no need to change that. So that is a little bit hard, but there are some exceptions, obviously, like Stacey Shin. I think her story is very interesting, but I think her situation is very unique and also quite different. So I wouldn't take that as something that is very common in the industry. And then for modeling, I think that could also be a potential. However, if you're in the modeling label of a company, then you're only focusing on that. You're not learning how to sing or dance, so that would be a tough transition. But again, it could happen maybe if you're young and they see a potential in you to become a K-pop idol. For the visual category, obviously that's what you're, trying to be at, a K-pop idol. And then for songwriting and producing, again, very rare, just kind of like acting, I would say. And then another question is, will they pay attention to you if you audition for these categories, or is it like even worth my time? And the answer is yes, they'll pay attention to you, I would say even more than someone that's just auditioning for singing and acting, or sorry, singing and dancing and rapping, because it's just kind of not out of the blue. I'd say it's just less common, and judges will pay more attention to this, and they're not going to skip over you simply because they're not looking for actors right now. If they weren't looking for actors, they would have that known and not include that category in future auditions. So don't let this discourage you from auditioning. And I always say, if you're talented in rap but there's less people doing it and it seems a little bit out of the blue, don't worry about it. It's actually making yourself more unique. So I hope this helped. I feel like I am kind of missing a couple of things. So if you have any other questions or would like me to make a part 2, perhaps with other categories, I don't think I'm missing anything, maybe like the instruments category, but I thought that was pretty self-explanatory, so I didn't include it here. But that is all. Thank you so much for watching. Oh guys, my vlog channel is back. I'm going to start posting on there, so please watch out for those vlogs as well. I'll be posting my birthday vlog next week, which is super exciting. My birthday was on the 14th, by the way, so I definitely vlogged some portions of that. But thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!